Hello, comrades. Yes, it's me. I'm back. After long last, I've been away on mission for a while, but it's all good. We're going to fix world pretty soon. There'll be big flash, and all problems of world will be over. Don't worry about it. Look, before I have to say what I have to say, I have to clarify. Okay, I live in New Zealand, which if you don't know where New Zealand is, all I can say is, what rock are you living under? Anyway, New Zealand is a group of islands just in the South Pacific. Two big islands, and then you got Stewart Islands, you got the Chathams in there, and a lot of little islands around the place. That's New Zealand. It's not a part of Australia, but it is down under. Okay? For all you uneducated people, we're not part of Australia. Our flag almost looks alike, but it's not. So we're not part of Australia. Just to clarify, New Zealanders get very upset when you get called them Australian, so I have to clarify. New Zealand is absolutely paranoid about nuclear power. It does not want anything nuclear. They are terrified. It's only because they're uneducated. There was this prime minister who decided that he didn't want nuclear power because he was petrified of World War III and that we would be nuked. Look, in World War III, it doesn't matter if you're nuked or not, we're all dead, right? So who cares? Anyway, what New Zealanders don't know is we were about to get power station, nuclear power station, but it was cancelled by that administration, and ever since then, oh, you can't even have nuclear power ships coming into harbors of New Zealand. That's how paranoid they are. I love country, good country. Some of the people are even nice, but they're a little bit slow in the head from time to time. Like the rest of the world, it's almost like everybody is Greta Thunbergs. They all think they know it better, even though they've never been educated. Anyway, on with my story. So it's been a while, so I sit back and look at the world now, right? Because I just go to work, come home. I don't even have TV. My wife and I don't have TV. It's just bullshit on TV, telling nothing but lies, so we don't look at TV. So when I came home 2 days ago and I went to bed in preparation to get up early to go to work, she was on her tablet and discovered that we went into lockdown at night. So she had to wake me up and say, hey, don't get up early, there's no work tomorrow, we're in lockdown. Now, some people get all upset, oh no, not another lockdown. Me, I was opposite. I was like, brilliant, I get to sleep in, not go to work. I love it. And that's the way it should be. You should see positive side of life. Nobody wants to see positive side of life anymore. Everything is negative. Oh, this is virus circling the earth. It's a conspiracy. Yeah, probably is. Who cares? You get day off work. And there are people unemployed who are complaining. But you're unemployed. You're home all day every day. And then they tell you to stay home and now you get upset. Make no sense to me whatsoever. But hey, I get a couple of days of work. I love it. So we'll find out by this weekend whether it's going to be longer than 3 days or not, or whether we can go back to work. On one side, I'm hoping, yeah, put me back to work because that's where I'm best. At home, not too good. I get bored. And when I get bored, I get up to mischief. So my wife tells me, okay, I just want to build nuclear reactor in garage, and she says, you need to go back to work. Come on, I saw a documentary about a teenager who did it in the United States. I watched documentary very carefully, so I know exactly how to build nuclear reactor. And the wife's ringing my boss going, can he please come back to work? And I'm going, look, I got Geiger counter, I can be very careful. I've got lead over here so I can make shield. And the wife is calling, please, let him go back to work. I said, look, I can dig a hole in backyard, under garage. So it'll be like a bunker. I can do it in there, see? So I get shovel out. Now the wife is ringing Prime Minister. Hey, look, Jacinda, please, for the love of God, can you send my husband back to work? Please, make exception for him, because he's building nuclear reactor in backyard. So I get phone call from Jacinda. Hey, you have exemption. You can go back to work. Just kidding. But that's the way it goes. When I'm bored, I get up to mischief. That's just the way it is. And I like my Geiger counter and smoke detectors. And bananas because of their potassium. And carbon 14. Hey, we all got carbon. We're all radioactive. What's the worry, Just a little nuclear reactor, not the big one, just a little one. I can power it with americium, just like the probes on Mars in space. The same thing that powers the Voyager spacecraft. That's all I want. And I want it for simple reason. I want to create power. The other day, a few days ago or last week, we ran out of power here in New Zealand. We ran out of power. New Zealand is a country that has shut down basically all its major industries. We only have small industry, like the company I work for. It's a small engineering company. We don't have major industry anymore, so we don't need to make lots and lots of power. So we have power surplus. Always have done. Anyway, we still get the windmills on all the hills, because that's the green thing to do. And we're not allowed to have wood burners to warm our house because we have to look after environment, right? So put in heat pumps. Okay, so we are all good people. Put in heat pumps, look after environment. So the other night it was very, very cold and we all turned on heat pumps and the grid crashed. So we have no power. Everybody in dark, everybody in cold. Now to me this is funny. Everybody else was upset. I thought it was hilarious. I turned to wife and says, if only you let me build nuclear reactor in garage, we would not have this problem. She's ringing the boss again. Please, let him go back to work. So I was thinking, if we ran out of power and the countryside is full of windmills, what are these windmills doing? They weren't producing enough power. Oh, wait a minute. It was cold night, of course, of course. Silly me. No wind. Of course not. So you don't have that problem with nuclear power. You don't need wind. And people going, maybe we need more solar panels on the roof. I said, you idiot, this was at night. There's no sun at night. Just let me build nuclear reactor in garage and all this will be solved. No more problem. We have power. But this is New Zealand. They're anti-nuclear from the country that invented it. Because Ernest Rutherford was from New Zealand, from Nelson. But they forget that part. They don't want nuclear power. This is all because of a certain leader from a certain Labour Party. So I have books on nuclear power. Okay, I've got books on shelf. I got lots of books. You have to have knowledge to move on in the world. So I have books that were given to me by my father, who used to work for a scientific institute. And when they were getting rid of books, he took them home. And there is a set of books about nuclear power and where to find the elements, where to find the uranium. And I have maps of New Zealand and where the uranium is. And it just happens to be in the South Island. So I'm trying to convince the wife to go on holiday to South Island. We should go to South Island, which means we have to drive all the way down from Hastings to Wellington, then hop on a ferry, go across water to South Island, and then drive down a bit further. And about the middle of South Island is where the uranium is, so I'll have to take my Geiger counter, to find where the uranium is, following the map. See, they think they're nuclear free, but they got all the elements that you need to make nuclear power station. But don't tell them because they'll get all upset. They'll try to get rid of it because they don't understand. Don't worry. They're uneducated, like all young people today are uneducated. What they don't know is they came very close to having nuclear power station. Just outside of Rotorua and Telbo here in New Zealand, you find this big cooling tower that looks suspiciously like a cooling tower to a nuclear power station. And that's exactly what it was going to be for. Until they decided, no, nuclear, bad, 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 bad. And some people say, look what happened in Chernobyl. Yeah, well, if you do it on the cheap, this is what happens. Okay, you have accidents, you have meltdown. And if you're stupid idiots, this happens. So if you're not stupid idiot, you'll be fine. But no, paranoid. So I just have to convince the wife to have a holiday in South Island so I can get some uranium, bring it back to my garage, build nuclear reactor, powerhouse. Don't have to worry about power cuts. Because we're going to need it, because now that we have heat pumps and we don't have enough power, they're telling us to get battery operated cars, which we have to charge. So at 5 o'clock, when everybody comes home and plugs their electric cars into socket and turn on their heat pumps, all the power cables will melt. So we need nuclear power. So if I build it in my garage when nobody knows it's there and it's nicely taken over, creating power, maybe I'll be able to make a little bit bigger one and power all street. And if I tell the street, look, don't ask me where power comes from, but I can give it to you for free, I'm pretty sure they no complain. As long as you don't tell them where it comes from, it'll all be. Actually, that's good strategy. We can do this. So if the governments go, look, we're going to drop power prices. We got brand new power station, power prices are now in half. And the people are going, well, how can you do this? Don't worry. Look, you want half price power? Yes? Okay, shut up. Take half price power. Don't worry where it comes from. Okay. You can charge all your stupid little phones and devices. You're all happy. URI told us to do this. He built one in his garage. Built what? No, don't worry, don't worry. It's all good. They all think that if you have nuclear power station, that you're going to glow in the dark. What's so bad about glowing in the dark? You do know we're all radioactive, right? There is thing that comes out of space, which creates carbon 14 in plants and animals. And we eat plants and animals. We ingest carbon 14. Carbon 14 is radioactive, so we are all radioactive. So at a certain level, we all glow in the dark. So don't worry about it. You're already glowing. So I'm going to show that this is a solution, not just for New Zealand, but for the world. Wind power is too inefficient and too unreliable to power your houses, especially at night during cold nights. Obviously, we have proof now. All the other powers are too expensive. You know, you have your coal plants, but that's bad for the environment. Don't even get me started. Okay, you can run on water, you know, hydropower, but the problem is you need it to rain in certain spot to fill up the dam. If it no rain in certain spot and it not fill up the dam, you can't charge your devices. No power. Can't turn heat pump on, can't charge your car. There is only one station that can run economically enough. That's nuclear power. That's just it. Now, you may not like it, but it's still a hell of a lot more environmentally friendly. All you people, you like it when it's natural, right? So you eat food. All natural. Get a medication. All natural. Look, a face wash. All natural. Natural is good. Well, uranium is good. It's all natural. See? It works if you're going to talk about it that way. And it doesn't have to be uranium, because people are worried about it. Well, United States worry about this. Because if you use uranium to make power stations, you can also make plutonium. And then you can weaponize and make nuclear weapons. But because the United States wholeheartedly believes that only they should have nuclear weapons. Only they should have the right to drop bomb on other country. No one else. So they will dictate to the rest of the world. No, you're not allowed to build nuclear reactor that can possibly make weapons. Only we can do that because we're the good guys. Suck a dick. They're not the good guys. They are destroying planet at the moment. They're not good guys. Okay, so get thorium reactors. Thorium is incredibly difficult to make weapon grade materials out of a thorium nuclear reactor. So thorium is a bit more, shall we say, easier to obtain. It's also on the South Island of New Zealand. So I still need trip to South Island. I still need to build a reactor in backyard to show New Zealand government that I can do this. It's all safe. Trust me. I will wrap myself in tinfoil. It's all good. What could possibly go wrong? I will let you know how it goes, yes?